July 8th, interview with Harriet Sue Goodman.
I love it.
Okay, question number one. What is the most interesting memory that you have for when you were waiting in the Hollywood studios for Nana to get off work? The most interesting experience you might have had.
Well, I was sitting in the commissary, that's the restaurant, having my chocolate ice cream, watching the people come in and out in their costumes.
That is interesting.
Yeah. See, the gentleman that ran the restaurant was a friend of Nana's.
Okay.
And so he told people, you give Harriet whatever she wants, chocolate ice cream, whatever. So they just sat there, and they come in all their costumes,
Yeah.
from the films.
And how old do you think you were?
I don't know. The second, while waiting for her, but with her, I got on the set and watched them do some filming.
Oh, wow. Were you ever impressed by any of that?
It was boring. It was a dance sequence, and not a long one, a little bit, and they went over and over and over and over.
Yeah, people probably don't realize that.
People don't realize that what you see has been put together from pieces.
Yeah.
That's what the film editor does.
Exactly.
He sees the pieces, looks at the script. It's a difficult job.
But they have to retake it all the time.
But they have to go over. There was one I watched last night. Gomer Pyle.
Oh, yeah.
Was picked to be on a movie representing the Marines.
Oh.
Oh no, it was Sergeant Carter was
Mm-hmm.
picked. And he had one line, let's hear it for Sergeant something. Some guy comes out with balloons and stuff. So he flubs it. They're doing like 40 takes and he can't get it right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So,
That is how it is, too.
Yeah.
All right.
And he goes and gets his face with makeup and pancake and wants to look.
Did you ever meet somebody that you thought, wow, I met this, like, how people are kind of starstruck? Did you ever meet a star to you that struck you?
Not that I can recall. That time in the nursing home, we met that African American actor.
Yeah, Benson.
Benson.
Robert Goulet.
But we weren't in Universal. Robert Goulet.
Yeah.
He had actually done quite a few movies. I've seen him since in some of the old ones.
But when you were young, you never met somebody and go, whoa. Like,
no, but I had,
Greta, whatever, or whatever.
I grew up in the industry. My father, too. Between him and my mom, and I wish now I hadn't kept it, I had a photo album with all these stars in it and autographs and stuff.
What stars do you remember being in that?
In what?
In your photo album?
I can't tell you.
Not one sticks out in your mind,
No.
like, oh, I had so-and-so, John
No.
Wayne.
No.
Oh.
I wasn't that big on it. You grow up in Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just sort of adjusted to it. It's just part of the life there.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
But you didn't, you moved there when you were like 8, though, right?
Well, we moved there when I was 8, but it was several years later before my mother started working in the secretarial pool, big room with a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was years before she moved up to producers and directors.
Yeah.
So in the secretarial pool, she just typed the scripts.
Yeah. She told me once she would just crack up laughing as she was typing scripts.
I believe it, because some of the things they write for it's like on our show.
The comedies.
Some of and for the actors to say
right.
are so ludicrous.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, next question. What was your favorite activity that you can remember that you did with your dad?
It was a different time then. My father was gone a lot because he was a musician.
Yeah.
He traveled with the bands. He worked a lot at night.
Did he ever read to you or
No, I don't remember that.
take you on a picnic?
No, we went as a family,
Where did you guys go as a family?
picnicking and
Oh,
places. We went places as a family. Knott's Berry Farm. We went to places, but just alone with my dad.
yeah,
That was a different era. The husbands were working.
yeah.
And busy, and just depending that. When we got our house, it was different, but my dad was doing yard work and my mom took her roses, but we didn't we didn't have. My mother was a Girl Scout leader, so I remember that, but I don't remember my dad.
And then you were too.
Yeah, I was a Girl Scout at 9 or something.
And Bluebirds too.
Yeah, Bluebirds. Or
Yeah, you were. I mean, you taught it too. You were.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Well, the next question is there an activity that you did with Nana that stuck out to you that you were like, that was the most fun I've had with my mom ever?
Well, I told you about my mom and I and her friend Joan and her daughter going to the Automat every Saturday
Oh, yeah.
and then going to a movie. That
Yeah.
was a big event.
Okay, so that
did
was
that.
like one of your favorite
That was
activities?
fun. But see, my mother worked too.
Yeah, I know.
She spent 40 hours a week at a manual
I
typewriter.
know.
And then she went to the USO at night and worked till 10 o'clock. Folding bandages, serving the men, dancing with the guys.
Who were
talking
you
to-
with? Bubby?
I was home with my grandmother.
Okay.
She wouldn't have ever left me alone at night.
Yeah.
My point being, this was the war.
Yeah.
They didn't have the free time or the money. We didn't do vacations. You know, everything was rationed. You had no rubber. The women had no nylons. We had maybe a pound of meat a week or a pound of sugar. When I tell this to Kathy's kids, they can't imagine how we lived, you know. And you look at people that live now on the streets, homeless and stuff, and in some of these countries, I think, how are they living?
Yeah.
You know, so that it was a whole different time with
Yeah.
the war. Everything was directed to the war effort. We saved all our chicken fat, all our bacon grease.
Yeah.
Everything went
People
to the
still
war.
do.
Yeah, I know, but the reason was for the war
I see.
and for cooking too, because you couldn't get butter. That's when they developed margarine.
Yeah, plastic. I
Mar-
read
you know
all
what
about the history of margarine.
Margarine, yeah.
I read the history about it.
Did you? Yeah.
It's 99% plastic.
Well, I believe it. It isn't
They
real.
use food coloring to make it look like
yeah,
butter.
to make it look like butter.
Yep.
But that's what we had.
Yeah.
Although my family probably didn't use
They
it.
used it because they thought it was low in saturated fat.
I'm not sure
But
they
they
knew.
actually made it originally to use as a product, not as food.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll have to show that to
how
you.
interesting. Because I didn't think those days they were talking about saturated fat and all that.
Yeah, they did. I'll show you that article if you want to read it.
Okay.
So my next question is there a favorite friend that you had growing up? And if so, what was one of your favorite memories with her?
Well, I had several friends.
But favorite, this one's a favorite.
Growing up, that's hard to say. Growing up when? You know, young, later, high school,
Young, grade school.
grade school. Well, I guess it was Carol Lee at the Gardner Street Elementary School. I told you about.
Yeah.
Her father, the bookie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
we were close. Yeah.
And so you went to her house and met her father, the bookie?
I don't remember going to her house, but we were together a lot. Her mother, Elsie, and my mom were good friends.
And oh, that's funny. And what did you guys do together?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
You know, I just mostly played in the neighborhood with the other kids, I guess.
Do you guys play tag?
I suppose. We
Okay.
used to slide down the snowbanks.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff.
Did you ever play Ollie Ollie Oxen
I
Creek?
have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your favorite subject in school, in grade school?
Wow. It wasn't math, I know.
How about this? Let me ask you a different question.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite grade in grade school that you remember and
I
you
don't remember.
enjoy?
No, I don't remember any grade. It's just,
Oh.
just we went.
What was your favorite subject in high school?
Well, I don't remember, Karen. I liked Spanish. I was very good in
that's right.
Spanish.
Okay, yeah.
And that was my major through high school.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
And okay. Oh, tell us how you met Dad. From the
Okay,
very
that's
beginning.
Okay.
I know how Nana met Papa because they got their clothes mixed up
Yeah,
at the
and
wrong cabin.
She got the wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that story.
That's crazy. At the time, I had graduated from UCLA, and Ralph was just he was just out of the service, and he was back at school at UCLA. And we lived in the valley. Oh no, he lived at the beach, I guess, or something. And everybody, most of us commuted to school. I did too. I used to walk up to Sunset Boulevard, get my ride. We paid the drivers, and then after classes, we'd meet somewhere and drive home.
Right.
So he was a passenger in my friend's car. What was her name? Adrian Jaffe. And he said to Adrian, Adrian said to him, I have a friend you'd like you to meet. And Ralph wasn't really interested, nor was I when this happened to me, because I'd had a couple of blind dates and I just wasn't happy with that. So she gave him my phone number. And he did call me. It was a while later. And we met, and he came. We were living on Kraft Avenue in North Hollywood. And he came to the door.
Do you remember the exact address?
4226 Kraft Avenue in North Hollywood.
Kraft or C?
Like the cheese, Kraft Avenue.
Oh, the K then.
Mm-hmm.
North Hollywood. Okay, we'll Google Earth that.
As far as I know, that's my address.
Okay, we can Google Earth it and see what it looks like
See
today.
it's there. So he came to the door, and he was dressed so well. He had just gotten a crew cut,
Oh.
and he was at the time broad-shouldered and quite big. He had on a nice shirt and a plaid like a sports jacket and slacks. And he came in and met my parents. And,
Did he have glasses on?
huh?
Did he wear glasses?
No.
Hmm.
I don't think he did. And so we went. I think we went to a movie, and then we went out to something to eat.
Do you remember what movie you two saw?
I wouldn't remember.
So you had a friend, Adrian, that said, "I have got to set you guys up."
Well, what happened was, and this is just conjecture, she really just wanted to have us meet just to do that. She thought we'd go out and that would be it. She didn't realize that we would get together in a serious manner.
Yeah.
And at the time, she was going with an Italian boy. Now, Adrian is Jewish. Rudy was his name. And her parents were very upset about that. And her mother tried to talk to me once. Can Ralph find, Adrian and I? I said, yeah, can't do that.
Jewish mother.
So we were very close. And then, so we had the first date. And then he didn't call me for a while, about 3 weeks.
I bet that Italian boy.
September.
I bet the Italian boyfriend's parents did not like the Jewish girl.
Probably not. Whatever happened to that relationship, neither Dad nor I ever found out.
Interesting.
And we met in September. And by October, Dad was talking. We were talking getting married.
Wow.
We were going to get married in January. And then we kept putting it off for various kinds of reasons. And someone said to my mother, "Well, Pearl, why are they putting this wedding up?" First we thought we were putting up. She said, "I don't know anything, And of course, Keith was born 4.5 years later, so there was obviously no problem there. So we decided to do that, and then I met his parents, of course, and he met ours. I don't think that he quite met Nana and Papa's expectations for their daughter.
Wow.
He just came out of the service. He didn't have a job yet. And he wanted to be a college professor, but just something.
At least
about
he
it.
knew what he wanted to be.
Yeah, but I'm just saying from my parents' point
Yeah.
of view. The old saying, Jewish parents want their daughter to marry a doctor
Yeah.
or a lawyer, whoever has money. But that was the way we met. Yeah. So it's a blind date.
Yeah.
Really.
Through your friend Adrian.
Through Adrian Jaffe.
How did she know Dad? I wonder.
Because she was the driver and he was a passenger.
Oh, she was
in
the
her car.
driver. Okay.
He was one of the passengers.
You guys carpooled.
We all did.
Yeah.
I did too.
That's so wild.
Because UCLA was never a dorm college. It had dorms,
Oh.
but it was and still is basically a commuter college.
Didn't know
Yeah,
that.
there are dorms, but we couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
So we lived at home, which was fine, and the tuition for in-state then was very low. I think it was $49 a semester. I mean,
Oh my God.
most families could afford
Yeah.
that. And since I was the only child, we all commuted.
Yeah.
And then after we announced our engagement, we talked about a ring. Dad didn't have much money. I said, "I don't need a ring."
Yeah.
But he said he sent $200 to his uncle, a jeweler in Chicago, and that's how I got my engagement.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Mhm.
And it was like quite the
It's a pure white.
Yeah.
50. It's a good diamond.
Quite a
We
good
had it
deal.
appraised.
yeah.
So then Adrian gave me a bridal shower. That was it. And I think she might have had her eye on Dad
Oh.
and didn't think that we would, most blind dates end up nowhere.
Yeah.
So I remember at the shower, I was sitting on the couch next to Dad, and of course my mother was there, and a few friends that we
Mhm.
had. And Adrian said something about, I saw Ralph first, and I reached over and grabbed him and said, but I've got him now.
That's a good one,
Yeah,
Mom.
well, anyway, that was kind of a dumb thing. She should have said, well, Ralph and I met on, but it's just all right.
Yeah.
So that was how.
Well, your response is pretty
together.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm glad you met him first. I wouldn't have met him without you.
That's true. I should have thought of that. Yeah,
Without her, you wouldn't have had him.
that's right. So.
And
But
you
it
were
was
the love of Dad's life.
It was a very different time.
So how many
We had-
years?
Oh, I was going to say we had very close friends. Gloria and Paul Kunert were close friends of ours.
Let me put some more drops in. Let's stop this.